All right. How do we do this? Who's going first?
I'll go. Just what's your level of excitement for the team in Wilkes-Barre with some of these young guys coming in or returning?
Yeah, we're really excited. With a lot of the young talent up front, in particular, some of the guys that we haven't seen in Wilkes-Barre that have been in our system, draft picks, and then we have some young guys that are returning, like a Gruden, for example, up front, and then on the wings with Legare, Puustinen, Poulin, to mention a few, even on the back with Ortiz out of the queue. But we feel like we have a lot of young talent there that works really hard and they're motivated. And hopefully in Wilkes we can kind of teach them the ropes and get them prepared to play for Pittsburgh at some point.
What are your first impressions of Ortiz, the defenseman?
Yeah, really smooth. He's a heck of a skater. He's got a lot of skill, and he makes good decisions with the puck. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him from being an older guy in a junior league to now being a younger guy in a professional league. But we think he can handle that. But we really like his tool set, and he's looked good out here.
Where does Cam Lee stand in his development, and what separates him from the NHL at this point?
Yeah, Cam just needs some more time. I mean, coming from a college where he was able to kind of dictate what's going on the ice all the time, and a little bit more freedom because of less consequences, I guess, by being punished by his opponent. And last year was a great, really good learning situation for him, with albeit a shorter season, but his first look at real pro hockey. And he was able to kind of figure out the things that translate from where he was before, how to get that to work in the American League, and now hopefully we can see some of that in this NHL camp here.
What does Josh Maniscalco have to do to take that next step and be a regular at the AHL level?
Yeah, Josh just needs to continue to work the way he's been working. I feel with him, a lot of it is decision making and processing the game. He's another guy that came out of a college where we feel like he has a really long rope to kind of do what he wanted out there, just because he had more talent, a little more physical ability than the other guys, so he just kept getting thrown out there. And it's the same thing where you make some mistakes in this arena, you get punished pretty badly, and he just has to learn when to pick his spots, how to pick his spots, and just play more within a system that the other players around him can have a feel for what he's doing as well.
What about Will Reilly, and what's the next step for him?
Will, so another guy that had a really good season last year and took a lot of steps, but for him, he's got to find that daily grind element for his game. The American League, the NHL, it's tough every single night, and Will's a big kid, he's strong, and he can play tough. We just need some consistency from that, and we really like what he can do with the puck. He's got a great shot. I don't know if you were watching out there, a couple bombs today, but he just needs to find a consistency in those grinding areas of the game, and we think he can do that.
Philip Lindbergh, what do you think are the challenges generally for college goalies going to the pro game? Are they unique from, say, a guy comes from junior league, right?
Yeah, for sure. One of the things is just the release of the guys around here and the consistency where guys hit their spots. And the other part of it too is you can't let your guard down. Right? There's dangerous players all over the ice, and if you're not aware of where they are on the ice, that you might get punished for it. So that read and react and the ability to adjust to the shot, it's more of the release than the speed, and how quickly guys get it off mid-stride, and also just the deception that some of the shooters use that maybe he's not used to seeing in college, where most of the guys are more deliberate. They pick a spot, they're going to get there, you get in position to stop it. There's a lot of guys out here, you have no idea when they're going to shoot, but they do, right? So Philip has to be able to read that. He's looked great in camp. Our boys have been phenomenal all week.
So I keep asking you about specific guys, but Poulin and Legare, what have you just thought of how they look as they kind of take that next step?
Yeah, great all week. I mean, there hasn't been anybody in this camp that we could say, geez. And with Poulin and Legare, they have so much talent and so much potential, and they work so hard. You can see it. They want it so bad. So they've been great to work with on the ice, and you can see their skill sets. Leggy, his shots really good. He's a really motivated guy, and so is Poulin. So it's just a matter of getting those things to translate again. You're taking a large step, and you got to be able to play with all the players around you. And those guys will figure it out. How fast they do it, we'll see. Hopefully it's really quick. it'd be great to see him here. But yeah, we're excited to work with them if they are in Wilkes-Barre.
Up on P.O Joseph, I know he's not in camp here, but
Yep.
you've probably spent more time with him than a lot of other people in the organization. A lot of people talk about just him adding more size, but beyond just physical maturity, what else does he need to continue to do?
Yeah, and everybody saw what, when he came up in Pittsburgh early in the season last year, what he's capable of doing. And then for that, it's just doing it all the time, which is not an easy task. You can play the amount of games he did as well as he did. And then if you're going to have a low game, just not have it so low. And that comes with maturity and playing and just having some confidence in that. As far as his build goes, he works really hard on that. He doesn't need to be heavy or anything. He just needs to continue to work on his quickness. He's already quick. His skating, those are the tools that give him success. And he's a real committed guy. He works in the offseason very hard. He had a great one this year. And I'm excited to see what he can do.
We've asked you about few defensemen already. I mean, is that going to be a challenge, kind of juggling the playing time development? Valtteri coming back too.
Yeah, internal competition is always good. We've got it up and down our lineup from goaltending to forward. So, it makes guys work harder. It doesn't let them take their foot off the gas. And every day's a challenge, whether it's practice or a game. And if you're in the lineup, you got to find a way to stay in it and fend off everyone that's nipping at your heels. And if you're out, you got to find a way to leapfrog somebody. So that makes it a little bit easier on the coaches. Yeah, there's some tough decisions there of who's going to play and who's not, but I'd rather have that than it be a clear-cut line of, hey, we've got 12 forwards and 60, and that's what we have.
What was your experience?
No, go ahead.
What was your experience like at the Holinka tournament, coaching USA?
Yeah, that was great. It's a totally different. You got 17-year-olds, and in particular this season, a lot of those guys barely had any game time last year with the pandemic and everything, and many of them weren't able to play at some of the higher levels that those kids are able to play at usually. We had a couple major junior guys that didn't even play. And not to mention just being out of a bubble after a long time. So it was interesting from that standpoint. And then the hockey itself, it's a great tournament. It's a really tough one. You got to start off with a bang right away because it's so short. We started building, but it was just a little bit too late. But the players got better every day. The work was there. And it was a really good experience for them. It'll serve USA Hockey well in the future.
What are your initial impressions of Valtteri Puustinen, and just how big the adjustments do you think he'll need to make in terms of not just the ice, but off ice, language, culture, things like that?
Yeah, got a ton of skill, incredible shot, really offensively gifted player. And it's always a challenge going from one place to another. I feel lucky because I played over in Finland for a while, so I can relate to him a little bit. And I know a little bit of Finnish, enough to make him laugh anyways when I try. But he's, we've got Kasper Bjorkus, we've got Nicholas Almari, we have Lindberg as younger prospects that can speak Finnish, that have been here, that can help him out. And so I think that's going to be invaluable to him. But we're excited to see what he can do over here. And on the ice, I think he'll adjust. He's a really smart hockey player, and he's extremely good. Like I said, offensively gifted. But off the ice, that's a tough one. But he's got a good support system here with the Pittsburgh Penguins and with those younger guys that have been around that are Finnish. So.
How about you have a little bit of an interesting role within the organization, because obviously as a coach, your job is to help win hockey games. But at the same time, you're trying to develop these guys. How do you kind of balance that, where you're putting the best team on the ice that given day versus also looking at the bigger picture longer term for some of these guys?
Right. Yeah. A lot of that comes down to communication from the top and all the way down. And we have a clear-cut plan, and I'm aware of what it is. And we'll prioritize things on different days, but we want to make sure our guys are just getting better, whether it's Poulin, a first-round pick, or like Felix Robert, who's an American League contract. If they're in our system, we want to take care of them. And like I said, that internal competition that we have this year is going to make it difficult to pick the guys, because we know good players aren't going to play on certain nights. But it's always a challenge. You want guys to develop in a winning environment, so that's what they're used to. We don't want people to accept, being on a losing team or anything. That's not what we're all about. But we want to make sure we're taking care of those guys, any prospect from top to bottom, and for that matter, our veterans as well. They still have a lot of hockey left. And if they're down in Wilkes-Barre, kind of helping out the younger guys, and that's their role, we want to make sure that they know we care about them, which we do.
What are you looking to see from Felix Robert this coming season, and how do you think he grew over the course of last season?
Yeah, just more of the same, honestly. I mean, I think he had a little bit different summer than he has in the past, so we're hoping that's going to help him out a little bit. You know, he's a smaller guy, but he plays like he's 7 feet tall, and he'll do whatever it takes. So I think it's another one of those scenarios where he's an extremely good player. We love his work ethic and the way he comes to the rink with a smile on his face, and he's a good guy to be around. And after having that last season under his belt, I think he's going to come in with some confidence here. And I'm excited to see how he challenges guys and pushes. And I don't know, we'll see what happens here as the season plays out.
Thank you.
Thanks.